Yes, I know what you're gonna say. Ableton is not specifically designed for composing film music. But I think there are a couple of really good reasons why you can use Ableton for scoring films. And to be honest, I've used Ableton for the past, I think 2 or 3 years for all of my projects. And so far it's done a great job. And I think there are a lot of features in Ableton that are also very beneficial for film composers. And I think they are often overlooked. So without further ado, let's look at the 5 reasons why you should use Ableton to compose film music. Alright, so to add a video to Ableton, that's quite simple. I'm going to import one of my old projects. Let me see. This one. So here it imports all the audio, and here you have a nice video window. And it's just a floating window, so you can change the shape or the size. And the location. So what are the advantages of using Ableton? Number one, it's a really easy interface, and I really love the fade and modulation and automation options that you have here. Now what I really love about this is that you can fade in here, but your fade is fairly flexible like this. So maybe we want to have it fade in a bit later. Alright, so you can see how it's really easy to have these possibilities in fading out and fading in music. Second, what I also love is the ability to modulate things and how you can actually see in the bar below what's going on. So this is a filter. I add a filter to this. I can filter it down very easily. I can add automation. I press A now. Let's draw some really simple automation here. Alright, so there we have a cue, almost. So the second thing that I like about Ableton are the effects. So Ableton has a couple of crazy effects. For example, Corpus, this is one of my favorites. It adds some kind of resonance to the whole thing. Right, a bit too present. So what I'm gonna do now is I gotta press Command G or Control G if you're on Windows. And this will open the audio effect rack. So now my effect is inside an audio effect rack. And what I can do here is I can split the signal into 2 different chains. So now I have this chain, I'll just call it empty chain, which is the dry signal. Now I have a second chain which includes my tubular pan. Okay, so I think this one is a little bit too much present. Let's filter it down a bit by adding an EQ. It's already getting better. Let's now add some reverb. Let's try the hybrid reverb. Tartaruga Hall. Very curious what that would be. Alright, let's just stick with that one. But you can see here how you can really easily create very interesting sound design chains, and you can all create them in parallel with each other. This one is still doing nothing. This one has all the effects. And after that you can still add effects and basically glue them together. Let's just, for the sake of it, try that. And let's add an overdrive to the end of the chain. So I'm not anymore into the audio effect rack, I'm now after the audio effect rack, which means that both the dry and the wet chain will go through this effect. As you can see, it's really loud. I really love the filter in this one. Let's make it a bit darker. So you can hear really quick way of creating sound design effects. Now another thing, great thing about Ableton is that you have an LFO tool modulator built into it, but it can actually trigger any other parameter within Ableton. So this is your LFO and I can say map and add it to the drive. And now the drive will start moving up and down. Let's make that a little bit slower and let's reduce that.
Let's see.
So you can hear the modulation going up and down. So now you can hear the overdrive, the drive increasing, decreasing over time. And if we love this thing, and this is the fourth reason why I love Ableton, it's really easy to record and print something, some effects onto another audio track. So let's say I really enjoy this effect here. I can add another track, select input, and then select track number 2. That's the one here. Now press record, and it's going to record all this track, including all the effects. All right, so now we got all the effects printed in this audio file here. And finally, what I love about Ableton is the Max for Live. So Max for Live is like bonus content for Ableton. So there are people, I think audio engineers from Ableton, but also I think just regular people who design new plugins and effects for Ableton. And you can download that for free. A lot of, well, some are paid, but a lot of them are for free. One that I specifically like is Drone Lab. Let's choose, find one here. Yeah. These are just presets with drone sounds. And you can just download this from the Ableton website for free. Another one that I really like is something very different. It's called Inspired by Nature. And it has this MIDI randomizer called Bouncy Notes. So let's add a randomizer and let's add a sample there. Let's say a rim. Well, let's go for this one. And it starts bouncing your notes. Now I can draw here walls. Well, there's a lot of other weird stuff you can do with it. But it gives you an idea. This is just like free content that you can download for free on the Ableton website. And it goes on forever. There are so many things down there. So Max for Live is also a great way of expanding your repertoire for sound design. So to conclude this whole story, I think Ableton is a great tool for a more sound design approach to film music, and I think nowadays that's becoming increasingly more important. I think actually more important than good melodic writing. Nowadays most directors I know, they're not really looking for great melodies, they're more looking for sounds that immerse people into their story. So that being said, I think Ableton is actually a pretty good tool for writing film scores. Of course, we're lucky that we have so much YouTube content online nowadays, but watching YouTube videos gets you only so far. It's also very important to get feedback on the work that you're doing. If you really want feedback and really want to make progress, then you can visit the Creative Music Academy, where I give private lessons through Zoom or Google Meet, so you can improve to be the next Hans Zimmer.